So right here is the roadmap, and what I was thinking is students would pick a book, maybe it's a chapter book, maybe it's a longer picture book or something, and then they split it into 6 different sections. So if it's 12 chapters, they would then split it into 2 chapters, like each for each section. If it's so many pages, they would again split that into 6 sections as best as they can, and they might need some help with that. After that, each of these have a different section, so they would read their section. So again, if it's that 12 chapter books, they would read 2 chapters, and then they would do the activity. So right here, throughout the whole roadmap, they would do an ask and answer the questions. So throughout the whole chapter book, they can duplicate this slide as many times as we might need to, and they can type the questions that they have as they're reading. And then once the answer pops up, they can write those answers, and then they can add a piece like an elaboration of what has kind of happened during those chapters. Then the next activity, so again, that is ongoing. The next activity is sketch and tell. So right here, students will sketch and then they will tell. I see this being on paper, but if you want to do it digital, right here is the shape tools, and they could draw different pictures using these different shapes. But what students would do is they'll just draw out what's kind of happening in their book, and then they'll quickly tell about what is happening by writing. So again, a quick drawing, and then they will write a sentence or two about what that drawing represents and what's happening in their book. And again, I would do this on a piece of paper. This next one, they'll read maybe 2 chapters, maybe a couple pages, and then they do the 3, 2, 1. 3 things that they're learning about in that chapter, 2 questions or wonderings that they have, and then 1 inference. So again, they'll just quickly type, or you can print this and they can write on this. The next activity, again, they'll read another 2 chapters or so many pages, and then they'll do the vocab. So they will have to come up with 4 different words that they don't know, find the definition, what those words mean, or like a similar word, like the simile, write it in a sentence, and then they find a picture for that word. So they'll do that for 4 different words within those chapters. After that, the students will then go and read another 2 chapters, and then they'll do story stickers. So right here, they will find 2 maybe Google images. They could also use Canva. Now that is a little bit higher level, but you might have some students that really get into Canva. It's a great place to design, and you can create stickers in there. And the kids can create stickers about the setting and one for the character, and then they'll just add it onto this water bottle. So again, students could add that by creating in Canva, or they could just find Google Images and just quickly find out about the setting and a character. If you wanted them to, we could add a box and they could explain more about those 2 stickers. Then the next one is about story elements. So right here on slide 7, students will answer these questions. Who are the main characters in the story? When does the story take place? What is the problem? And so on. So again, they'll just quickly type, they'll grab the T right here, the text box, and they will add a comment to answer those questions. With Graffiti Pages, students will have a blank piece of paper. Usually this is done on paper, but again, you could do it digitally. And they're going to do 2 different symbols, 2 keywords, and then 4 quotes from their story. And again, we can change these prompts as we might need. But students will kind of create like a graffiti wall on this scrap piece of paper. And then after the end of their book, they will have a choice board. So they can create a book trailer, maybe using Screencastify or WeVideo. They could create a different ending. So maybe they want their video to end differently, or their book to end differently. They could create a whole different ending for how that's going to end. Or they could create a podcast. So they could create podcast notes, and then they could record just their audio using WeVideo. So more of this extension type of idea for this type of board with students. And then they would quickly rate their book, their title, their author, if others should read it, and then that kind of stuff, because it is choice. And then maybe from these and their book trailers or their different ending or their podcast, other students might want to read the book and grow some interest that way. So again, that is the choice board. Let me know your feedback.